What's up, everyone? Gogan here, coming at you with another extended video. Okay, this video is about that awesome Link 3 sword swipe combo, right? And I wanted to go over how I did this and like do a tutorial on it and all that cool stuff. Okay, so this is exactly the animation we're gonna build, right? This is Link doing his sword swipe. Okay, there's a lot of cool stuff built into this Link rig. The sword has quite the extensive like sword abilities. Okay, and well, like with doing the 2D effect, and I really loved. It was a lot of fun getting that like smear frame on there, right? You see those cool fast blade smears. Okay, and that was the creator, the rigger, doing that on purpose. Okay, and it's super awesome. A lot of you have already probably used this rig, so I wanted to use this and do a 3-hit combo, 3-4 hit combo with you guys, and walk you guys through it, so you can really get a feel for this really awesome thing. Okay, so things I want to point out before we get started. Okay, a lot with my like boxing or like punching 3-hit combo punching tutorial is like spacing equals speed equals power, right? There's a lot of big gaps in the spacing in this, but it was designed that way on purpose. Okay, spacing equals speed equals power. Another big thing to pay attention here is the leading action. Okay, with leading action you can really sell your what's leading, right? Leading action, what is leading in your animation. Okay, obviously the sword is the leading action. Okay, so you want to make that clear and emphasize that. Okay, so let's get started real quick, guys. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button so I know that you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff, and like we can do more sword combo stuff. You want a part 2 and everything, please also leave comments. And yeah, let's keep growing. Thanks, guys. So let's go ahead and we've got our animation right, and oh shoot, what are we gonna do? Well, we're just gonna take a big old dump on this animation and destroy it. Oh boy, it's scary, right? I'm gonna go ahead and save it now. Okay, as oh, forgot a frame here. Can't give ourselves any room to wiggle. Okay, so right here, gonna save this. I'm gonna go ahead and save as and do a tut 01, I guess, right? And saving a brand new scene, okay, for our combo hit. So I went ahead and I'm gonna use this first pose. Okay, no reason to build out a whole new first pose if we have a really strong first pose. Okay, so something about this, something nice working this with this pose. Okay, it's really big. It's really like the silhouette is very clear. Okay, maybe especially from like this angle, if it was a front on angle, if Link was like if you were like Link as the player looking at this character, this is a very strong silhouette. Even as the playable character, right? Because you're going to be Link as a playable character. Very strong silhouette from the back even, okay? You know exactly what's going on with Link, okay? So this is a great first pose. Okay, so now the way I animate is I do minimal blocking. Okay, unless I really need a like a pose, I'm not gonna really put it in there. Okay, so I'll make sure that we're on clamped and stepped mode with our with our keys. Okay, got to clamp and step though, so there's no handles. What I mean by clamped and stepped is there's no handles. We are working in clamped and step mode. So we need to step those, okay? Step those keys, okay? So now we want to build out our second. And the second thing, like the second pose we had in our animation was Link like shoving that sword forward, okay? So I want to go ahead and pull that sword forward like this, okay? One big thing to always keep in mind, okay, guys, that a lot of people miss, super important. One, it gets more extension out of like the elbow, but also like it's like what the body is actually going to do. Right now, obviously he's hugging his like his neck here, okay, so we don't want to do that, but we still want to get a really nice like shoulder coming out pose. Okay, like this, that's fine. We just got to pull out our elbow here. Okay, like this. Oh, look how weak that is. And to really get like a really powerful stab, you need to get that full extension, okay? And maybe we can turn it like this just a little bit so his arm is a little more, feels a little more natural. We have to come straight out. Now, we're relying highly on like angle here, okay? Because from the, like, from this angle, he's not stabbing this way. If we wanted to get more of like a non-kinked wrist, we'd have to stab the side. And this is okay, because this is actually what happens when somebody is stabbing like with a sword, okay? The wrist is allowed to kink in this scenario, okay? The purpose is for the sword, the hand has to have a firm grip, and if the intention is to stab with it like this, the wrist will, it's not gonna like do anything like this, but it is going to like, you know, do a little bit of kinked, okay, honestly. And especially if there's no a supporting arm, okay? Link's got his shield in his hand. There's no supporting arm necessarily here. All right, now he's obviously going to rotate forward, okay? Like this. Really jabbing that enemy, bend him down, coming forward. Okay, I'm not gonna have him take a step until he does the sword swipe, okay? And then we're gonna have him, his arm's gonna come out. Make sure to pull this elbow up as well, okay? He's really hitting that pose. Really like line of action, right? Like it's coming here, going like this. This line of action is going like this, okay? And we can even probably pull him forward even more. Boom, right? He's really getting into that. And rotate his arm down maybe like this. Pull his arm up. Okay, really cool thing that we can do with this sword is like get really nice paths of action, okay? That's gonna be a really big player in this animation, is like, especially this like stabbing motion, is we're gonna really cool like path of action with the sword, okay? Turn Link this way, okay? We wanna make sure that that's coming, yeah, that's not natural at all. He's like stabbing out to the side, right? We need to pull that in and pull that down, okay? Pull his neck over like this, turn his head. He's side-eyeing somebody over on the side while he's stabbing. So let's pull that more in front here. Pull it out, okay? All right, stab, okay? Oh, one thing we do want to build out that I didn't, okay? That is important to build out. We need to build out the anticipation, okay, of him going down like this and then pulling back, okay? He's gonna pull back like this and line that sword up, okay? Pull it up, pull his shoulder up like this. He's gonna anticipate and line up that like jab, stab, strike, okay? He goes down, maybe like pulls his shield up like this, really gets ready to, you know, stab, boom, okay, yeah. And now we want to, right, he stabs there, and now we're gonna have him stab, slice up, okay. So he's gonna stab, slice up, slice down, jump up, swing down, okay. Stab here, then he's going to slice upward so he can slice back down. Okay, so let's build that in. Like this. He's gonna have to stand up a bit here. Okay. you got to be a little cautious with his neck because his neck, there's probably a way, there might be a way to switch it, but I haven't looked a whole ton into it. But like his neck is like an IK spline neck, so you got to make sure that you are pulling it around because it's not just going to rotate with the body. Yeah, there's some complexities about this rig that are a little bit different, right? I want to point out actually something that I did with the rig, okay, is his actual main control. I mean, I had to look up the like rig review video to get this answer. His like main control is actually this cross in the back, okay, and that rotates from here, and that's where he does all these rotating, so where he can like use his IK, right? And I thought it was this here, but this just controls, like, brings the arms and the legs with it. But so that's not it. This is actually it. And so all I did really is I created a NURBS curve, okay, and then I parent constrained that NURBS curve to the parent group of this, okay. So let's see, the parent group, which is right here. That way I'm still able to animate this control if I want to, but because you can't animate a parent constraint, like a control that's parent constrained. You can't animate one. So you have to do the group above it. So that way the parent constraint still works on the control, and that way it's not, the parent constraint's not on the control. Anyways, I'll do a separate video for that. It's kind of a little bit wonky. But I'm grabbing this control, and really all it is doing is grabbing this control. So that's how you can follow along with this tutorial, okay? If you want to. Okay, so now we're going back to that sword swipe, right? Right. And he's gonna go like this. And just, you know, for those that are wondering why I like don't show reference while I'm working like this, is I don't want it to bog down the tutorial, because like there's a lot of things in breakdown we can go into, like when we were doing reference and everything, and I kind of just like go through it with you guys, okay? But like me looking at reference, I definitely look at reference, but I try not to like put it too much in my tutorials, just because I don't want to bog down the tutorial, okay? These tutorials are already really long as it is, and so I kind of just like to get you guys the like meat and the bones of the tutorial, okay? If you guys are ever wondering why I don't like break down the reference with you. And if that is something you guys want, we can do that, and I can definitely include that in my future tutorials, okay? Okay, just going through here and working out the pose, okay? And I try to make sure, you know, again, I don't like to kink I try to keep the wrist as least kinked as possible, okay? Just because, you know, our wrist doesn't, unless we're like doing something very intentional, we do not kink our wrist. We try and keep it as level as straight with our arm as possible. But again, in fighting, like there's a lot of like flexibility that happens with the wrist. Okay. Swipes up like this. Bring him over on this leg just a little bit more. Maybe a little too much. He's also going to get rid of that ball roll. He's going to come back like this. And this isn't necessarily like an attack here, okay? Where he's swiping up. It is, but it isn't, right? He's swiping up to kind of like get ready for the slash down, okay? This here. Let's make sure that we are grabbing our controls and we have the right pose in the right spot. Okay, boom, comes up here and then whew, it swipes down. What I'm gonna do for this pose here is, like, if we look at this pose, I've already really got that pose down, right? I've honestly already got it. So why wouldn't I just, you know, copy that pose? Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste that pose to that one. Okay, and that's like a pro tip, right? Like, you don't have to rebuild every single pose you ever use, right? If you have a pose that is working, then use it. Like, don't feel like you can't use that pose, okay? You know, it's not cheating. You've already built the pose out. You've already done the work, right? But so all we need to do is we need to get this pose into a place where it looks like what we want to accomplish. And what we want to accomplish is Link slashing downward, okay? So the difference about this particular slash down is we are actually going to switch, like have him take a step, okay? Oops, wrong ones. Like this, grab the main control, grab that control, pull that forward. That, pull that forward. And then we are going to pull his foot forward, okay? Like this. Turn it in forwards like this. Turn this out. Okay, and this pose is feeling really good. Swipes down. Maybe have his head come down a little bit more, so maybe that's too much. Oh, have it come out and down like this. And maybe rotate it down a little bit more. Okay. Pull it forward just a bit more like this. Okay, let's see how that's feeling. Oh, make sure we have all our keys on the right frame. Down, boom, just like that. Stabs forward, slices up, slices down. Okay, and again, like with the way I work, I feel my way through an animation. Even if this pose isn't completely 100% working right here, that's okay. I can still, when I'm feeling out my animation, okay? Again, something that people miss a lot is the elbow, okay? The elbow is gonna come down like this and swipe downward, okay? Extend that arm out like this. Make sure that we are on the right keyframe. Okay. Oop. Slash down. Maybe have him step just a little bit more forward. Okay. Stab, slash, slash. Now he's going to jump. Okay. And so we're going to build that anticipation pose out. Okay. He needs to go down like this. Okay. Maybe go back just a little bit to jump up. Okay. And that's enough of a down pose. Okay. And Link might, on that down pose, might bring the sword in just a little bit. Like this. And then he's going to jump up. Ooh. Okay. He's going to jump up like this. And we can go ahead and, if we want to, rotate the toe upward, okay, like this. And then we're going to grab our main control or our arm control like this, pull that up. Okay, we want to straighten out his back just a bit more. So we're going to grab all those, zero them out, okay. And the sword is going to start coming upward as he's jumping. Zero this all out. Okay. Pull this over here like this. Oop. Let's go ahead and zero the shoulder out as well. just so that we can make sure that we are getting exactly what we want. Pull it forward and then pull it up. There we go. Okay, he's going to jump off with this front foot, okay, not the back foot. That's another big thing that I see and mistake animators make is they will jump off of the back foot, okay, and that's not what Link. It's physically impossible to jump up, right, off of the back foot. He has to jump up, and you know he might even be facing downward a little bit more on the initial jump. Okay. Feels a bit awkward, so we're going to pull this head down just a little bit. Like this, pull that forward. Rotate this up. Okay. And then he's going to jump up like this. He's going to, now that he's anticipated and he's started the jump, okay, we're going to have him jump up in the air. And I'm not going to build another jump pose in, you know, like jumping contact pose in, because I feel like we don't need to, and I feel like it might be a waste of time to do that, because Maya's going to give that to us already. So why not just let Maya give it to us? Okay. Well, looks like from this angle he needs to straighten out a bit when he's going into that jump. Sometimes I get sick of building a pose, and so I'll just go ahead and go forward, just so that I can like build a different pose, just like, and that even in my blocking, right? And that's kind of more of that like feeling my way through the animation. Okay, if I'm not quite seeing a pose and I'm getting sick of a pose, I move on to the next pose and I'll come back to the pose, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, don't think you guys have to like get the poses right the first time, because that's not how it is. I will start building on pose, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm done with this pose. I'm sick of it. I moved on. I want to just get on to the fun part, right? You will have to come back to that pose to build it in and make it better, to make your life easier. But you guys don't have to get stuck on like poses and like you guys don't have to get stuck on like each pose being completely 100% perfect, because in reality it's not going to be. It's going to be crap sometimes, and you guys just need to like, and what I do is I just let it be crap until I get to a point in my animations where it, like in the blocking, where I feel good about it, and then I'll go back and I'll adjust those poses. Okay. But so many animators will get stuck on like creating a perfect set of poses, and it's like, you don't need to do that. And some of the posing, honestly, some of the best posing comes out when you're in the middle of spline, because like you make a decision like, oh, you know what, I feel like this is working better with the movement that is going on once I hit the spline button. Because the movement that happens in the spline button is much different than the movement that happens in blocking, right? It's so much different. Okay, I'm gonna have him come up. He's going to lean back like this as he is going, as he comes upward. Oh, I must have another control selected here. Yep, he's gonna lean back. His sword is gonna come up like this. Okay, rotate backwards. Got to rotate that elbow up as well. Make sure that that is getting engaged as well. And when I go into my spline and as I go into the jumping, this all will, like, it's gonna be a little wonky on this sword like arm movement, but that's just because like it's trying to go from down here all the way to up here, okay, and make up that difference in Maya. But I really don't care, honestly. The way I work, I really don't care. I just kind of like let Maya do its thing, and it'll give me, like, sometimes Maya gives you a good breakdown by itself, and then you can use that like breakdown that it gets you like 90% of the way there, and then just tweak it so the breakdown is a little bit better. Okay, but like let Maya give you some work for free, right? It's not cheating. Like Maya, my dog's name is Myra, and she's in the room with me back over here. So I keep saying Myra, but Maya, let Maya give you some animation for free. You know, like there's nothing wrong with that. It's coming up here like this. I want to make sure that my shield arm looks engaged as well. Okay, not just like sitting there. Maybe we need to pull the shoulder up on the like shield arm more like this, so it looks like it's just a little bit more engaged there. Okay. This. Let's see how it's looking. Yeah, I think that's looking fine. Okay, goes up. Now, whatever goes up must come down, right? First, though, I want to go ahead and grab all my controls here and this control, and I want to pull it forward like this, okay? Make sure I have all the controls that I want. Pull it forward. So we're going like this. We're going, oops, going up. It's going to be here, and then we're going to be going forward, because no matter what, on the jump, this is another mistake that I see a lot, is like animators will jump straight up, or they'll jump up and they'll stop going forward and just kind of jump up, come here, and then go straight down, okay? You have to maintain that forward, like, jumping momentum, right? Nobody can just, like, jump up, stop in midair, and then go straight down. They need to jump, go, like, keep that momentum, and create this nice arc, okay? They don't just go jump, whoop, and go down, okay? And that's a mistake I see a lot, and could just be fixed if they either fix it in their, like, initial poses, or if they fix it in their graph editor, okay? So we can see, like, when Link jumps up, he's like continuously moving forward, and that's even a little too straight up, okay? So let's move him forward, move this forward like that, and then move this forward when he goes to land. Okay. Now when he goes to land, he's going to stick his foot down, okay? Like this. On the ground, let's go ahead and get that go to ground level. Pressing 0. Then we can pull this upward like this. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this upward. We're going to lean him back a bit so that we do give him that ability to land. Okay. Going to come down like this. Maybe right here. He starts swinging the sword right here. Okay. And again, I am feeling my way through this animation. Okay. A lot of the way I work is I look at reference, obviously, right? And then I feel my way through the animation based on my style. Okay. But I know the main body mechanics that are in play. And if you can get the main body mechanics working for you, and then you build on top of that with more of like your like the way you want the timing to feel, I personally feel like your animations are going to come out just a little bit more. And the reason I say that is because like you're not relying fully on reference, and you're not completely referencing the reference. You're letting like your animation kind of you're letting your animation kind of speak for itself when you're not constantly looking at reference, and you're not bogged down by just like looking at reference all the time. You get the main pose, like the main like idea of the reference, and then feel your way through the animation. Okay. And if you need to go back and look at your reference, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like let yourself feel through the animation. Okay. Gonna come down and then land in, like, honestly, let's copy and paste a pose. Boom. Like this pose. I like this pose, so let's copy and paste it. Okay, like this right here. Our anticipation pose right before the jump. Boom. All we need to do, honestly, is we can cut this, right? And then we can grab all of our controls here that are on world space. And all we need to do is pull them on forward, including the knee, right? Oh, might not be forward enough. Okay, let's go ahead and give that a 0. Oops, not the translation, just the rotation. 0 that out. Okay, we obviously need to clean it up. We can't just like leave it like that. But it got us most of the way there. Okay. And if we're going to get free animation from Maya, take it. It's not free, technically. I already built it out one time, so it's not like free per se. And it's not from Maya. That's from me, you know, doing a good job, like my poses and stuff. Okay. He could come over just a bit more. Okay, this needs to this ball needs to rotate up, and maybe this way a bit. Okay. I want the sword to be just a little more out like this as he does the downward swipe. Maybe this knee can come in. Okay. Blocking is always interesting to do just because, like, good blocking can make your life a lot easier. But, like, blocking is fun, but the real fun is, like, the meat and bones, which is the spline, right? So I'm excited to get to the spline with this. Okay, he jumps up. We can make him jump higher if we want to later on. Okay. And I kind of want to actually bring him backwards just a little bit, so he can go forwards on the slice down. So he comes back like this. Maybe down a little bit so we can get that bend. He comes forward just a bit. And then he's going to come back to that settle. Okay. This. Boom. Slash down. And then come back. And that's that cool body bounce that tutorials that I've done, right? Or that I've talked about. I need to do another body bounce tutorial, right? Where it's an actual tutorial. I haven't done one. I did a quick one, but I need to do an extended version. Okay. And then to you know, end it off, we are going to go back. We're going to go back to idle. Okay? This is our idle pose. Okay? We're going to go back to idle. In traditional game sense, this is what you want to do. You want to return back to idle. Okay? You have to. You don't have a choice. Otherwise, it's going to go back to idle by itself and look like complete garbage. And really, we just want to have this foot stay where it's at, okay? And so, I mean, we've already pretty much got it, but if we wanted to, we can just delete that. Well, actually, we want to keep it because it gives us our rotation that we need back. Comes down like this, slashes down, comes back. So, I've got all my poses in, okay? Stabs, up, down, jump, oh, anticipate, jump, up, down, and then back. Okay, perfect. So, let's go ahead and make sure there is a key on every control. Okay, so press S, greater than sign, or less than sign, sorry. S, less than sign. Okay, and I do this a few times when I'm done with my blocking or close done with my blocking. I'll do this a few times, and that's great, that's fine. Okay. Going like this, going through, and that'll do it. That'll do, donkey. Right. That'll do. Okay, so come out here like this. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and time this animation out. Okay, I want it to be quick and snappy. Okay, it's not gonna like drag out. Like he's gonna anticipate back, stay there for a bit. I don't know, 2 frames. Okay, and then really stab out, okay? And then he's gonna hold on the stab for just a bit. He's gonna hold that stab, and then he's gonna swipe up, and then swipe down really quickly. Boom. And then maybe hold this for just a little bit as an anticipation, then anticipate down, and hold for 2 frames, then jump up. Okay, and come in here. Hang just a little bit. Want a bit of hang time between these. Ooh. Those are random keys somewhere in there that I don't know about. Jumps up. Oh, maybe they weren't so random. Or maybe I accidentally deleted more. Comes up, goes forward, bit of hang time, then goes back down. Lands. Does a body bounce. Okay, we're going to build that body bounce in when we get into spline. Okay. So, we've got this timing out, right? Sometimes I do even spacing just to get timing in there. I know that I want the movements to be fast. So I'm going to just kind of like time out the faster movements and then the holds, okay? And so since they're going pretty fast and it's not going to be any like slower movements or normal like regular paced movements, I will purposely animate the timing quicker, okay? And if you want to throw 2 frames in between everything, then do it. No problem. You'll be able to feel your way through the animation and how it feels. And you'll be able to add more in-betweens, okay? Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things on your animations. Perfect, right? That's looking just like like when we first looked at the animation, right? He stabs forward, slices up, slices down, jumps, and does like a downward slash swipe, right? It's looking great. I already have keys on every single control, okay? And so I think we honestly can jump into spline from here. And yes, this is exactly what I like when I animated it the first pass, right? Or whatever, to show you guys the animation before we started. This is exactly what I blocked in. I didn't do any more than this. And I don't do that, okay? I feel too bogged down with a million keys or like a million poses, okay? I just hate it. And it's like, if Maya is gonna give me some free animation, I'm gonna take that free animation, okay, all day long. I'm just gonna clean it up, and clean up the pose and clean up the timing. And so, you know, don't waste your time, like, to me, like doing all these like lockdown poses if you're just gonna end up deleting that, maybe probably deleting them in the future because you wasted all that time in my eyes. Right. Some people are faster, though, the other way. And that's great. And if you're not, that is fantastic. Just happy that you are animating. Okay. So, obviously not quite ready, okay? I mean, it's a good ways there, but there's some things that we can do to make it sweeter. For instance, I don't like how fast this exchanges, like this little thing is here. He like stabs, waits, which is I want, but then he goes up and immediately goes back down. What we need to do is we need to build in kind of like, I don't want to say an anticipation, but we kind of need to ease into that up and then ease back in, ease into the down, okay? And it'll feel so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and change my settings from clamped and stepped to auto, okay? And then because I did already hit my auto button, and I want to make sure that it's auto everywhere. Okay, so let's get to work on this seemingly ugly animation. Okay, just destroyed it. So I wanna first work on the thing that I hate the most, and it's this here. Okay, I'm going to press S there, add an in-between to ease into that. Press S there. Because I wanted a snappy timing, I'm not going to like ease into it a ton. Just ease into it a little. So like you see how there's like big spacing here, and then I need a little bit, and then he eases into this, okay? I needed a little bit of spacing in between there, and that's what putting that one keyframe right there did, is it gave me that spacing that I wanted like right in this area, okay? Another big thing about this animation that we're gonna have to work out is his arm, okay? His IK arm, and I didn't do it in FK because I don't want that arm to follow completely with the chest because I was doing a ton of stuff with the chest, and I wanted it to be its own little separate thing and not always following the chest. Because there's a lot of like overlap and overshooting we're going to end up doing with the chest, and that'll just get in the way. Like the sword hand, we want the sword to stick and stick in there. Like on this first little jab, we want it to go and stick and stay there. But if the chest, like if we're going and then coming back, the sword would end up like rotating and like, and we don't want that, okay? We want it to stick and feel nice, okay? So, along those lines, let's go ahead and check out how this looks on the easing in part. Okay, when he slashes up. Still feels a little fast, so I'm going to add another in between right there. I'm pretty much just setting a key. I like this pose, okay? So I'm just going to set a key, locks in that pose on all the controls, and then I'm going to add an in between, and that eases it in even more, okay? Okay, I like that more now, okay? So, let's go ahead and build that jab and see how we can make it feel just a little bit better. So when we're jabbing, we're doing a really fast movement, okay? And the body's gonna go and then come back, okay? It's gonna go and then recoil. So you can't just, Link is never, and nobody is ever just gonna go and just stick there, right? Like he's doing right now. Like right now, he's going and just sticking. Nobody's ever gonna do that, okay? It's impossible, and he's not gonna ease into it either, okay? That space equals speed equals power, okay? If we ease into that, it's going to completely diminish that. And let's go ahead and see what that looks like real quick if we get right. So we're going to set this key, we'll just go ahead and set this key right here, okay? I mean, that's really exaggerated easing in to that, but like you can see like it just weakens it, okay? And even if it was a little less extreme of an ease that I just did, it would still weaken it, okay? And let's just try it real quick. See that? It's like easing into that, just no. It's not good. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have him shove it in, okay, the guy's torso. We need to extend this arm just a little bit more, and we could even probably grab this shoulder here, pull it even farther, like this, okay? Okay, so now what's happening, okay, is he is now recoiling. It's a little bit too much of an ease in of a recoil. I want him to stop recoiling so much, like right here, and I want to grab this frame and I want to pull it forward, okay, just like this. Let's before we do that, so this, we're gonna get our graph editor here, okay, because it's a lot better to do this in this thing in the graph editor. Okay, so he's going to go up and he's going to push it forward, okay, but he's going to come down. Now, we're not going to round this side out too, okay, because we want him to go forward, punch out, and then come back, but we want him to flatten out and flatten out that. We don't want him to go, okay, because if we do the graph editor like that and he doesn't flatten out in this pose here, if he doesn't start flattening out, it's going to make it just, it's going to soften it up. So what we want to do is we want to jab and have him come back just a little bit, okay? And if the sword arm is going too far, we can always pull that down so it doesn't hyperextend. Okay, so let's look at that. Oh man, see how he just like jabs and then recoils. Okay, he jabs, recoils back, just enough, and we want the sword. The sword might come a little too late. Let's see. I actually do want to pull that up. Yeah, that's really good because he stabs and then he recoils, right? He does the stab and then recoils, and that's feeling a lot better. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of this here where he goes down and just kind of hits. Okay. And not get rid of it, but ease into it. Okay. We're going to ease into that down and back like this. He's coming down. So, something I want to point out real quick while we're doing this. So, this is going to be kind of like a weight shift, right? Where he's coming down, and it's a weight shift from front to back. Okay? So, the thing is, before you can go back on a weight shift, is you got to go forward just a little bit. Okay? So, he's going to come forward like this first. And then he's going to come down like this. Okay? He's going to come forward. Maybe even forward like this. Okay. Yeah, that's feeling really good, right? So he's going to come forward and then back. Okay. And it builds in some overlap. Okay. Forward and then back. Just like from side to side. Before you go left, you have to go right just a little bit. Go right to go left. Right. And the words of Lightning McQueen or Hudson, right? Hudson Hornet. Turn right to go left. Anyway, so he goes down and he doesn't just like hit that. He eases into that anticipation and then he goes for the stab. Stab you in the torso, you stupid monster. Okay. So, okay. So, just like with that, you know, we want him to like tuck that shield in and ease into that with that shield too. And then we want to build in some like overlap with the shield arm. Okay, so his forearm's going to do this on this pose, and then it's going to come out. And we want the arm to recoil as well. All the body is going to recoil, okay? So we're going to have this actually do the same thing. It's going to rotate up like this and then recoil. Okay. And we can actually have it like get to the recoil faster, so we can build in some overlap on there. Okay, or just go like this. Okay, now we've got this working, right? And this might even be too little spacing. We might want to go from here, right here, to there. Let's try it. Yeah, I like how that's working. And the reason it's working is because of that path of action that our sword is creating, right? That is filling in the gaps. And we can always change it back later if we want to. We're not married to anything, okay? So now, with this next move, it looks super dull, right? It looks terrible. The reason it looks terrible is because he is not getting that sword overlapping and that elbow leading enough. We need to pull that up and then have this sword start to come down, right? And it's got to overlap, and we're going to keep overlapping it until he gets up to that upper swipe. Okay, just like this. Rotate it down. That feels a lot better. Okay, I don't like how it's overlapping so much and tucking in, so I'm going to come out so that it's more of like a straight up, like this. You see this frame to this frame, it's a straight up, and then boom, we have that pop right there. Okay, and now obviously this part is looking super terrible and dull. We need to straighten that arm out and start to turn the sword. Okay, just like this. And by this time, it needs to be completely switched over to the other side. Okay? And that's like a really quick thing. And when you look at reference and you're like, how are, like, that's what the reference is going to look like. It's going to, like, their arm is going to go from this to this super fast because, like, the camera's not going to pick up this turning, right? It's going to go from this frame to this frame super quickly. And that's how we also get that power in there, okay? Again, we want leading action with the elbow. So that's what we're going to build in right there. Might want to start rotating this even more. Now, something with this, okay? We want this to stay into our, like, we've got to be careful with this, like, when we rotate our sword, okay? Because if we, like, create an instance where it's like this, and then, like this, and then like this, where it's got this, like, really weird spacing, and that might even actually be okay for me, but it's got a really big spacing. You have to make it so the turning of the sword is within its, like, own rotation, and, like, so it's, like, staying with within its own path of action, because otherwise it's going to look like super jumpy and janky because it's jumping too far. So what I've done, right, is I've made it so on that turning of that sword, it's not jumping a bunch, like, a huge spacing, okay? And it's staying within its own, like, little rotation. And so that's a way to make it so it's a little cleaner and nicer on that sword, because I see that a lot where they'll I'll see the animation where, like, they'll rotate like a sword like this, but it's like it's like starting here and then it rotates around, but it ends up right here on the next frame and then right here on the next frame, right? And you've got this, like, huge spacing. You need to rotate it so it's within it. The rotation is in itself, okay? And you can see that how that's working now. Is I've rotated it in here. I've still gotten the rotation, but I'm maintaining that, like, path of action kind of thing, okay? I want to rotate this downward because I don't want it to jump this much, even though, like, I'm not looking at it from this angle. It's especially for game, depending on the game it has to look good from all angles, okay? And I might even have this come up like this. Might even straighten this arm out like this. Pull this down. In fact, I like that a lot more. And that arm is straightened out. I like that a lot more. More straightened out, not completely straight. Okay, like this. Swipes up. Ooh, see that? Ooh, man, it's feeling so good on this, like, sword swipe, right? Because the blade is overlapping and creating a nice little overlapping path of action and coming up like this, overlapping path of action coming like this, and then swiping down. And we need to clean up that swipe down, but that path of action is feeling nice. And when we add in those, like, swipes of the blade, it's gonna feel so good. Okay. Again, we want to keep the blade face out, okay? Because we want to see that, like, swipe happening, right? We want to see that, we want to see that satisfaction, especially in, like, if this was like a side scrolling type thing, we'd want to see that, okay? And the way we see that is making sure that we can see the blade face. Not that eases in too much, so I'm going to copy and paste this frame to this frame so it doesn't ease in too much. And I actually don't like, if I'm looking at it now, I don't like how he goes down to the slash and then goes down to anticipate, okay, to do the jump. He needs to go slash down and then just go straight into the jump. And that's okay because he's already in this downward position, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this one here and have him, he knows what he's going to do. He's anticipating that jump, so his slash down is kind of already in anticipation, if that makes sense. Slash, jump. And maybe we can hold this slash a little longer, okay, like this, put a key there, and then hold it just a little longer, and then have him jump. I want him to, I don't like how much he is not bringing that sword back. So I'm going to actually have him bring it back just a little bit farther. Okay. Like this. Obviously we need to fix these here. Yeah, okay, that's feeling a lot better. In fact, we might even be able to sweeten it just a little bit more. Okay, by pulling that down, making that elbow more of a leading action with the elbow. Oop, something to get wonky with the shoulder here. There we go. Just had to twist the shoulder a bit, and that's okay. But we get more of a leading action with our shoulder. Okay. Let's see how it looks from the front here. It's looking fine. Elbow's coming in just a little too far. I need to flatten it out on that camera angle. And we can always pull this in if we want to, like this. Okay, and pull it up. So it's not coming out so far. Just like this, okay. Got to fix this one, bring it in. And then up so it's straighter. And straighten this pose out. Okay, now we are getting somewhere better, I think, in a better scenario. Pull this up like this. Make sure it's not going so far. Pull it up right there. Okay, get this on a little bit better path of action. Okay, I like that more. Comes back, really overlaps that sword. You can see and feel the overlap happening, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to work on is that jump up, right? It's pretty atrocious. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So turn off the geometry select. So he jumps up and there's no arc, right? So we need to build that arc in. I also want to give him a little bit more time, okay, up in the air. Like, because right now he just kind of jumps up and he doesn't stay in there for longer, doesn't anticipate for him for long enough. And so I'm going to go ahead and push that, okay, and see how that feels. It feels good. I feel like it'd feel a little bit better though, so I'm going to lock this pose down, okay, because I want him to, well, actually, let's go ahead and, fix his arcs real quick. We see his arc here, okay, and, you know, we could just go ahead and grab this arc and pull it up like this, but, like, the problem with that is, like, he just goes up and literally goes back down, right? So what we want to do is we want to create an instance where he's going up longer than he is going down. So we ease into the up longer than we ease into the going down, okay? And I mean, where it's at right now, like this, is fine. But I want it to be just a little bit sweeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a key right here, okay? And I'm going to add a few frames to that. There we go. That feels so much better, right? Because he stays up in the air and then boom. And you can really feel that anticipation, okay? And we might even be able to give him just a little bit more and push his, like, upward just a little bit farther, okay? Yeah, I am liking where that is going. So let's go ahead and pull this here. I like that more. And then on the feet obviously aren't doing anything, so what we need to do is we need to go in and we need to adjust those curves, okay? Those Ys. Pull this up here like this. Obviously we want him to go come far up, okay? Because he's going into this pose. So they go ooh, boom, and then they go down. Now, the next thing we have to fix is the camera here is doing some animation. So what we have to do is we have to fix now the down. It's going really, really slow. So let's go ahead and experiment here. I want to try and see, because we do want it to ease in right here, okay? I want to see, because we want this ease in, coming down, I want to see what it's going to look like with just one frame in there, okay? One frame. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that feels so good, right? Like, we don't need more than one frame. And the reason we don't need more than one frame is because that body is doing a natural stretch and that natural path of action, okay? I did another video, my Spider-Man video, and a similar thing happened. It's like that body's creating that natural stretch and supporting that path of action, okay? And that's what we're doing here again, is we are supporting that natural path of action, okay? So, and what I want to do is have him come down just a little bit farther forward with his body, okay? Like this, have that nice like line of action, right? Not path of action, line of action. People get it mixed up. Path of action, line of action are different. Line of action is like the line, the clear line that the body is making on a pose. Path of action is the path in which the body is moving, okay? They are two different things. People can get confused about them. At least in my eyes, they're two different things. That's the way I view them. Line of action is more of like a pose-based thing. Path of action is more of like a movement kind of thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and fix this pose here. I don't want this arm coming so far over this way. It kind of feels a little awkward. So I'm pulling it this way. Okay. Boom. Oop. I keep animating that camera. Okay, jumps up. Boom. His foot on the landing needs to come down a bit faster. Like this. Okay. Now, this is the problem I see all the time with feet. Okay, is when they're planting, the heel doesn't finish out and come down like it should. Okay, it goes like this. It goes backwards. It translates backwards, and it's not a firm foot plant. Okay, if the heel is right here, it needs to remain right there. If you look, the heel's right here, then it comes back. Now it's right here. It needs to remain forward. Okay, you need to remain like that is so important because that is what makes the foot feel firmly planted on the ground. Okay, it's very important you guys like do that. Okay. Now, this is a little fast. I want to fix this here. Okay. Comes back a little fast. Back to idle pose. Okay, that's our idle pose. That's what we're doing. I got to get out of this camera. I got to lock my camera. Let's lock this. Boom. So I can't move around it. And then I remember that this is my perspective mode. Okay, perspective. Okay, so now he jumps up. Okay, so he's doing stabbing, boom, slash, slash, jumps up, boom, then comes back to idle. Looks like his foot's still moving. Plants, we need it to stay put. So lock that down. All right, so now this is a big like weight transfer, okay? This is a big spot where like body mechanics come in when you're doing a like having the foot come back. First of all, it's going to drag behind, okay? You need to start and it's dragging behind a little bit, but like it's gonna come back. Like the foot is gonna come, like the body is gonna start moving upward before the foot starts moving backward, right? And the reason that is because the weight needs to transfer onto the other leg, okay? So the body starts moving back, but the main body needs to start coming over and up to transfer onto that other hip, okay? Just like this. Ooh. Let's see, grab the wrong control here maybe. Duplicated control, I think. Get rid of that. Okay. The weight is going to come back onto this. Okay. And it's going to remain forward like this onto this hip and forward until that foot comes. The body is going to keep going backwards, but it's going to mainly remain forward until that foot plants. Okay, so we need to drag the body behind here, just like that. Okay, so it's kind of a weird thing. The body is going to move up and over first, then the leg is going to come back, the leg is going to plant, and then the body is going to finish coming back, right? Because you can't transfer your weight back onto the other leg unless the other leg is already firmly planted on the ground. Okay, it's just not possible for you to do that. You will fall over. So let's go ahead and pull him over just a bit more like this. Pull him up. Let's have this foot plant down on the ground. Okay, like that. Maybe that plants too quickly. Yeah, let's have it plant here. Okay, this is moving really fast. I don't like how it's coming down so fast. Okay, well, it looks like we need to move this foot too back into position. This foot has to stay in position the whole time, okay, until this foot plants as well. Okay, so let's keep this foot where it needs to be, just like that. Drag it far behind like this. Then once this foot plants, we can move that foot back. Okay, so now as we see this foot, now it comes back after the body has come to position and it's planted, okay? Now, we need to lift that foot up as it needs to come back, like that, okay? Interesting thing though, if we're gonna come back and move that foot, we need to have the body come back this way, okay? Like this. Okay, and then it's going to dip down back on the weight transfer again. And that's fine. That feels really good. It's a nice little subtle, okay? And that's one of the things that really pushes an animation. It's a nice little settle, right? That's something that really pushes the animation to the next level. So like a nice little settle, okay? And that's something that people don't put enough emphasis on, is that nice, subtle little settle. That feels so good, right? And the reason it feels so good is because it feels so, that's what's supposed to be happening, right? In real life. That's what would happen in real life, okay? So, because Link here transfers onto this leg, we need to have the body counter, right? We need to have the body counter that weight the chest. We need to have the chest counter that weight. So the body needs to come over onto that like this, and the chest also is going to come over, and the body is going to do like a counter posto kind of thing, right? Where it goes like this. Okay? Now it looks wonky because his head is not coming with it. Just like that, okay? And then when he transfers onto the other leg, it's going to counter the hip. The chest is going to counter the hips back to the other side, okay? Like this. And it's going to emphasize, and it's going to counter, even though like the idle pose is already in that, it's going to like be pushed a little bit farther, okay? It's still going to be going to this side a bit because the weight is still on this. It's going to drag behind. There we go. Oh man, look at that settle, guys. It feels so good, right? It feels like it has weight at that point. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go in and see how it's feeling as a whole, okay? I'm probably going to do a part 2 to kind of really polish this thing up because it's really fun. It's a really fun animation, and I want you guys to be able to use this kind of animation with your reels, okay? He's not back far enough. He's going to tip over forward, okay? So he's gonna start to go up, okay? He's going to be up. He's going to keep coming back further, okay? Before he goes up, and this is something that I kind of realize as I'm going along, before he goes up, he's going to go down. Okay, he's going to anticipate that upward that upward weight transfer, okay? Back to front, side to side, there's always going to be a dip down as you're doing any kind of weight transfer. So he dips down here to go back up. Maybe he goes up a little too quickly, comes up like this, okay? Still going up. Still, the weight is still over on that foot, and he's not going to start. He's not. Okay, this is something very important, and I've done this on all of my weight transfer exercises videos. Okay, you are not going to go down until your foot is planted. Maybe slightly, so you can go to plant your foot and catch yourself. But you are not gonna. The body is not gonna go back down until it has fully planted the foot, because the foot has to catch it. Okay. The weight needs to remain on this foot here. Okay. And maybe I want to have him lean forward just a little bit more here, right here, and come forward just a little bit more so he can ease into that, really ease into that. Oh, this foot is coming up too soon. We got to make sure this foot here is planting before the other foot comes up. Okay. He also needs to be fully, before this foot comes up, he also needs to be fully transferred all the way over onto this foot, this other foot. Okay, he has to be fully transferred onto that foot. Okay. Before it goes over. So right now it's moving before he's fully transferred. Okay. Right now you can see it. Right. His body's still going down like this, and then the foot comes up. Right here is where he's fully transferred. Okay. Onto that, like all that weight is on that foot. So we need to push that back until that point. Okay. There we go. And then we need to probably drag his body. Right here is the point in which he is fully transferred. We need to scoot that back because he needs to have this foot planted before he can go back to the other side. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, it's looking really awesome here, right? It's looking like a lot of fun. Obviously, this arm, we need to get this settle going on this arm at the very end. Okay. Just like this. Okay, we need to build in that overlap and all that cool, fun sword stuff that's going to be happening as he comes backward. Okay, pull that down like this. Go upward. Oh, sword's going to come up with him. Go back down. I've kind of lost my idle pose, kind of not. It's okay. Let's go ahead and copy and paste our idle pose. That's okay. We can just bring it forward. We don't have to go. We're not doing this for an actual game, so we don't have to have true back to idle. Okay, just close enough. And that right there is close enough. Okay, so he comes back, comes down. That he comes back to idle too slow. Okay. It needs to overshoot like this because he's like still settling with his body. Okay, come up here. Okay, I don't like how it's coming so far up right here. I'm going to pull it down just like this, just a little bit. Okay. Pull it down with him. All right. And then it's going to overlap upward, okay? And then as it comes down, that sword's got some weight to it, so it's going to overlap downward now. Okay. Let's put that back. Okay. All right, now we're in business. Okay. So, we have a nice little sword combo here, right? Right? It's really fun. It's a lot of fun. And we've gotten like the bulk of the animation done now. So now all we need to do is we need to polish it more. We've got all the main mechanics working, okay? And there's a lot of polish that can go into here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go, I want to focus and spend a lot of time on the polish because I want to really make this animation look like a lot of fun and really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a part 2 of this exact animation, okay? I hope to see you guys come back. Part 2 is going to be focusing on a lot of like the polishy part of this animation, okay, and getting this thing like really looking solid and really fun. Okay, so please come back for part 2. Thank you for watching this one. If you guys want to polish on your own, go ahead and do it from here. I hope you follow along with this video. I also want to say, like, you can go ahead and just like copy like and follow along with my videos if you want, right? And that's fine. Like there's no problem in doing that. Like that's how you learn, is you trace over first, right? You can trace over and like see what an artist is doing first and then go do it yourself. That is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with copying somebody's animation to learn, just as long as you're not claiming it as your own, okay? And saying, I did this all by myself, blah, 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 right? Don't do that, but it's okay to follow along with an animation tutorial and say, I went through this animation tutorial with this artist, learned a lot of stuff, and now I can go do it on my own and see, and then I can refer back to this to really, you know, push my animation. But thank you for watching through this, guys. Please spread the word, share, like, comment on all this, on my animations. I really appreciate you, coming to my channel. Let's keep building this community. Let's keep building this channel. Leave some comments if you guys have any comments, okay? Any requests or anything you guys want to see in the future, please. I love that so much. Happy animating, guys. Thanks for watching.